You guys are finishing the course?
No, we still have time. We finish in November.
Oh, have you
حمام.
Yeah.
did you thank you fine?
And it's written danger, no entrance. That's why.
Shit. Oh, it's very. هاي جرة الخرطة حتى.
هلا بسحب الواحد.
I'll tell you in 1 second.
Okay, try to squeeze in, ladies and gentlemen. Squeeze in.
Yalla more, get inside. Guys, get inside.
دالك راخو.
Okay, we're inside the latrine. Latrine is a fancy word for toilets. This latrine is 800 years old, 700 years old, and you can clearly see the seats on the right over here. Each seat has a gap in the middle. This is where you know what happens.
Yes.
So there's one seat, two, three, and so on. Okay. And there's another line on the left side. But there's also another middle section with seats here and here. So you could use here, maybe 20 people could use simultaneously. It's a public toilet in the real sense of the word. No separation as far as we know, just like in China until a couple of years ago. No separation, people go together and enjoy. However, this is not the entire story. You see the scaffolding?
Yeah.
They weren't here until a couple of years ago because it's going to fall down, and therefore the scaffolding supports it. But if I took the scaffolding away, you'd notice that there is a second floor for this toilet. So there are two layers, basically, one on top. So when you do what you do here, your friend is up there, and hopefully you don't feel it. Where does it all go? Where does it all go? Well, underneath us, there's a huge cavity. And it's being filled during the summer constantly. Think about all the pilgrims coming and visiting the hospitaler. That's why the hospitalers are called hospitalers, because they have, hospitality. So they allow you in and they can use the toilets and you can sleep in the headquarters, obviously. No, you didn't. You didn't. It was for free, of course. I mean, you give them something. Why should you pay for that? Just kidding.
But it stayed here for 800
Anyhow, it
years.
remained here until winter. In the winter, there were channels that brought water in, so there was a self-cleaning system here, taking the waste where to where?
See?
To the moat. Probably to the moat. Why? Because the moat should be as dirty, as filthy, and as intimidating as possible. That would be nice to have it over there, and that's exactly what they did.
How bad must that smell?
I'm sorry?
How bad must that smell?
After a while, you get used to it. Ever been to a kibbutz? Kibbutz, when you go to a kibbutz, to me, as someone who comes from the city, the kibbutz is the worst toilet in the world. I mean, when you go there, the smell here there is the smell of feces. But you stop feeling it after a while and becomes a scent. You enjoy it. That's how kibbutznikim do. Well, that's what they do. I can't get that. Anyhow, let's go out, because it's hot here.
جوعت أنا وبعدين بدنا ناكل.
It's pretty interesting for me. I wonder why he.
كيف افتحها مشان هون هاي الاجل.
Maybe next
واو شو هاد؟ This is original? The ceiling? Yeah.
Everyone, we're still in the compound of the hospitals. These are the night halls. We're inside now. We were outside. Then we go to the main courtyard. So here's the main courtyard right here. And now we're in this yellowish colored, which is divided by walls into parallel halls. We're in this hall at the moment, right here. There's another one over here behind me. There's another one over there. So there's a series of parallel halls. They're huge, monumental, quite impressive, and the question is why? Well, the answer is probably to impress. Okay, impression, prestige is built on size. Unlike what we are told, size does matter, and a lot. That's why we have the Empire State Building. That's why we have the Eiffel Tower. That's why we have the Azrieli Towers. It's a statement of power. All right, so size is important. But is it also functional? We guess it is. We suggest that these halls were used for the pilgrims. Remember, one of the jobs of the hospitales is to serve the poor, the needy, the sick. All of them can come to the hospitales, get treatment, or simply find a bed for the night. So these may have been, this may have been a place where dozens of beds would be scattered during the night, and people would spend the night here, eat, and later go to the restrooms. When we look around us, everything you see is original. The walls you can see deteriorated, but you can clearly see that it's authentic. Apart from the ceiling. The ceiling, of course, is the modern ceiling, because the ceiling has to be retained. If you like to have people standing here, it would be a bit dangerous to trust luck. So they plastered it. But there's one place where there is no plaster. There.
It's new.
No plaster. The plaster is new. Someone decided not to plaster this. Why?
And something to hang.
It's a symbol or something.
Let the water come.
Chimney.
Something to do with the history of the site. I'll tell you what's on top. This is cell number 28.
That's why I tried to dig
Yes.
the tunnel.
When they dug
الجورة الموجودة بالحيط اللي حفروها عشان يهربوا منها المساجين. هيا فوق.
they got into these holes from this.
من الفلوس ينزلوا أول أكسجين أكله.
Sorry?
This whole thing is filled with dirt, right?
Wait a second. So when they dug, guys, this is the final tour. You shouldn't be so much interested in that. It's hard to just go. All right, so they started digging from here. And when they reached down about 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters, they reached a level of earth.
Yeah.
Because the entire
Was covered.
space was piled with earth and sand. We believe this was done by Ahmad Ajazar in order to support the prison or the fortress that he built on top. So when they dug down, they found just a couple of tens of centimeters free. And this is why they felt the breeze coming in. The breeze came from there. You see, there are windows over here at the top. So air comes from there. This is the air they felt when they dug down here. Had they continued digging, they would find themselves against this 3-meter thick wall, and they would, of course, commit suicide at this point out of despair, which is horrible. Luckily for them, as I said, they were transferred to another location before they found out the horrible truth that they were digging in vain. Yes?
When you say it was filled with earth and ground, was it the whole thing filled with
Yes.
earth, or just like?
Yes, from where you sit here up to here.
So how did they feel the breeze?
Because what happens is that when you bring buckets of earth, you pile them here and then another layer and another layer, you can't reach to the top. Because if you reach to the top, you need to have some way to get
So it
out.
was filled by people, not naturally.
No, by people. An artificial field, absolutely, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that it wasn't that clear. So what I'm talking about is an artificial, intentional filling of the space so that it holds whatever you build.
That's why it was easier.
These buildings are not stable. In the time of Al-Jazar, they're 500 years old, right? And they've been deteriorating throughout the ages. No one took care of them. Rain came in, basically unstable. So it's either you bring thousands of builders and you start breaking everything and clearing the area to give rise to another building, or you simply fill it up, cover, and then dig a big build on top. And that's exactly what Ahmad al-Jazar did.
Wouldn't it have been easier for him to find a different place to build the fort? It seems like a lot of work.
Another place is 100 meters to the south, 200 meters to the east. So it's all over. It's a crusader city which is bigger than the entire old city of Akko today. Wherever he chooses to build, it's the same problem. And there are other underground vaults today. You're not aware of them, but they're here. We know. We dug them partially, so they're still hiding everywhere. It's a magnificent crusader city. That's what you see everywhere. Yes.
Above this area here, there were something built upon it before
Yes,
the prison.
Still 28.
The fortress of Ahmad al-Jazar, and perhaps
So
also
it supported the.
Exactly.
But why he filled it? He
support, because the walls won't stand the weight of something that goes on top. There's danger that it will all collapse.
to collapse.
Okay, you don't believe me? Let me show you something. No, I know you don't believe me. Let me show you something, because I know you don't believe me. I'll show you something, and then you will all convert. You will all become believers. For hungry people, okay.
Yeah, that's that.
I'm holding it in, I'm holding it in, and I'm holding it in.
We just passed toilets.
Where?
Guys, we're going to have a break shortly. Don't worry.
As a ballistas? No. Ballistas.
Okay.
This is part of the complex which collapsed.
Okay. Should I bring you here? Well, this is the first area that was already open to the public, at least partially, small part, in the 1960s. So when in the 90s, when people spoke about the halls of the Crusaders, the Hall of the Knights, it was basically this section over there. And that's it. You'd visit, you come in, and then out. Impressive, but not as impressive as it is today. So we are lucky, after the 1990s, we have the entire area excavated. And when they dug in the 1990s, they exposed the pillars that hold the roof. And the roof holds the, beginning with a P, prison. And lo and behold, one day, they were digging here, and suddenly, the man in charge of the excavation here looked around and he said, I have a bad feeling. His name wasn't Harrison Ford, it wasn't in Star Wars, but he said, I have a bad feeling. I said, well, what happened? He said, I don't know. Guys, everyone get out of here now. And they went out, they fled out, and the moment they were out, this entire section of the prison collapsed, where a moment ago they were standing. That's why you have these modern supporters here, looks different, and that's why they added these coffins, I call it, these boxes to hold what's left. So you see, it's an imminent danger. It eventually happened. And it didn't require an earthquake or any dramatic event. Simply succumbed to the ravages of time. That's the only explanation.
Which makes you realize that they were right to fill it in with earth in the first place.
Exactly, that's what I said. That's why Ahmad al-Jazar was wise. He had to fill it up. Once we took the earth filled, everything fell down. Now, over here, down below, you can see remains of buildings. Some of these buildings, this is a new discovery, go back to the Hellenistic era, to the 3rd century BCE. That's one of the direct evidence that that helps us realize that Akko descended from the Tel in the 3rd century. Otherwise, you don't build houses in this vicinity. We're far away from the Tel. Okay, let's continue, guys. Once we're out, as I said, we're going to have lunch break. But prior to that, we need to find a way out.
Hellenistic.
Oh wow. Roman socks.
Okay, guys. As you can see, it was decided to turn this site into a commercial, touristic site, selling merchandise and producing all kinds of artifacts. Unfortunately, in recent years, as you all know, Corona, war, things crumbled down, and I hope, we all hope that we'll bring groups here that will enjoy this
If
experience.
somebody like to support us, if you need any help, you have a small team.
She told me it's okay.
Okay, let's go this way, guys. Let's not interrupt them. This way. Too narrow. No, that's too narrow. And this one's already blocked. No, it's open.
Oh, sorry. ضخمة بنت اللذينة.
مش طبيعي. طلع من الجنة.